Good morning. Thank you. In the absence of our minister, the Reverend Tony Fisher, I am pleased to begin the service today. I'm Skip Lundborg, a member of the Worship Associates team here at the Unitarian Universalist Church congregation of Greater Naples. Participating today are other members of the Worship Associates team, including our chair, Janet Hoffman, Kathy Summers, Cliff Wells, and one of our members, Joanne Husky, who's scheduled to speak but is not feeling well today, so her part will be read by Janet later on. We are ably supported in our service this morning by, as always, Abby and Sean Allison. But today, we have two special folks with us. They are not visitors to us. In fact, they both grew up here. I had a conversation earlier with Nathaniel's babysitter. So Nathaniel and Caroline Cornell have been around for a while. Influenced by their parents, Brad and Martha, they were always interested in music and have branched out to find their own talents, which have taken them in many places around the world and bring them here today. We're delighted to have you with us. Papers to shuffle. Every Sunday, a worship associate stands here to say, all are welcome here. It is true, but woefully inadequate for one person to give it voice. So today I'm asking for your help. I need to add your voice to give the truth of our welcome some vitality. So please, if you believe it to be true, add your voice. Join me in saying, all are welcome here. Ready? All are welcome here. Don't forget that, because in another minute or so, we'll do that again. Now, the question is, what is here? Here is a building. Here is a sanctuary. Here is a pavilion. There we are in Videoland. But I believe unless there are folk, unless there's a community, there is no here. Here is, in fact, a group of free-thinking, progressive folk who try to fulfill the goals of peace, justice, and love by the way we interact with the world. While attempting that, we are looking for ways to help each of us and all of us connect to what it means to be here. On the cusp of a new year, what we have to offer is this: all are welcome here. Take a deep breath. Settle yourself into this time of worship by listening to this morning's prelude. Thank you. I am reading We Gather to Draw a Wider Circle, written by Reverend Gretchen Halley. In a world that feeds on moral outrage, we are here to cultivate moral courage. In a time that prizes picking sides, we gather to draw a wider circle. In a culture that teaches us to get for what we give and to ask, what's in it for me, we come to practice generosity and to remember we are all in this together. In the midst of life's bitterness, we choose to sing, to give thanks, to laugh together and be keepers of beauty, to offer a place of belonging for all who come in gladness and in pain, to resist the push to the next moment and the next, to slow down, to breathe more deeply, to feel a part of something greater. For this hour and in this space, let us be the change we wish to see. Come, let us worship together. I invite you to join in the chalice lighting response. Cliff will light the candle for us. It is on the screen and in your order of service. Here today, in this place and with these people, may we listen so that we can hear. May we hear so that we can feel. May we feel so that we can know. And may we know so that we can change ourselves and this world. May this chalice we light our way. Our opening hymn is number 360. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and sing the 3 verses of We Here We Have Gathered.
Gathered side by side, circle of kinship, come and step inside. May all who seek here find a kindly word. May all who speak here feel they have been heard. Sing now together this our heart's own song. Here we have gathered, called to celebrate days of our lifetime, matters small and great. Of all ages, women, children, men, infants and sages, sharing what we can. Sing now together this our heart's own song. Life has its battles, sorrows and regret, but in the shadows let us not forget. We who now gather know each other's pain.
I am speaking for Joanne. I'm Janet, but we'll be speaking for Joanne since she was unable to come today. To paraphrase T.S. Eliot, this is the way the year ends, not with a bang, but a whimper. 2023 has been a tough year in so many ways. Horrendous wars, political divisiveness, increased incivility, rising hate crimes, surging gun violence, more COVID, rudeness and malevolence, dysfunctional government, and much more. It feels overwhelming. We leave this year exhausted, yet many of us merely have been silent spectators, complaining about the way things are going, feeling hopeless about what we can do. But here at UUCGN, we have a commitment to respect the inherent worth and dignity of every human being. We know that we are a part of an interdependent web of life, and we welcome and benefit from diversity. We respect each other's ideas and seek to learn from them. From this, we all grow and become better. Joanne grew up in a pretty political family. My father was the mayor of our town of Livingston, New Jersey. He deeply believed in civic responsibility and in service to our community. He instituted something called the topic of the night at our dinner table. Each evening, we would discuss the important topics of the time. We had many heated yet significant conversations about racism, the war in Vietnam, civil rights, freedom, and religion. Sometimes these conversations got heated. Sometimes even tears ensued. But we talked about what was really important. Yes, we differed quite a bit, but it was always about the issue and not about attacking the person who delivered it. My family all benefited and actually loved these conversations. Today, so many of us can't do this. We all ignore the elephant in the room. We are sidestepping what is really important, what is critical to our national survival. Pluralism and diversity is what makes the U.S. so amazing. Did you ever notice that U.S. spells us? We are a nation of people from all over the world, and we have a deep faith in respecting each other's freedoms and rights. Together, we can proudly call ourselves Americans. Yet, this democracy of ours, while precious, is fragile. 2024 will be another, even more difficult year. We are called upon to vigorously participate in our democracy. As President Obama once said, we are the ones we've been waiting for. As Germans now repeat again and again, we cannot let fascism, the Holocaust, the inhumanity ever happen again. In 2024, we must work to ensure that this never happens again. And as Reverend Tony once said to us, human beings have the potential to recreate society. We cannot just stand back and watch things get worse in 2024. We each need to use all the tools we have at our disposal to practice our democratic rights. Be true to our values. Speak out when we must. Inform ourselves. Work for and vote for candidates whose values we align with. Get others involved in the democratic process. Canvass and register people to vote. Encourage informed citizenry. Write to our representatives, express our concerns to newspapers, and demonstrate if we must. But most of all, in 2024, we need to talk to each other about what really matters. Get to know our neighbors, even if they are different from us. Discuss ideas and commonalities. This year, we are going to need each other. We need to reach out and make new friends, join groups to do things together, listen and observe, volunteer to help a cause, and use our skills to work with others. In that way, we, the people, will embody the democracy that we love. The Journey by Mary Oliver. One day, you finally knew what you had to do and began, though the voices around you kept shouting their bad advice, though the whole house began to tremble and you felt the old tug at your ankles. "Mend my life," each voice cried. But you didn't stop. You knew what you had to do. Though the wind pried with its stiff fingers at the very foundations, though their melancholy was terrible, it was already late enough and a wild night, and the road full of fallen branches and stones. But little by little, as you left their voice behind, the stars began to burn through the sheets of clouds, and there was a new voice which you slowly recognized as your own, that kept you company as you strode deeper and deeper into the world, determined to do the only thing you could do, determined to save the only life you could save. Now, let's stay seated as we sing "When Your Heart is in a Holy Place." That is in the Teal Hymnal 1008. We will just sing the first two verses, and the words will be on the slides also.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we tell our story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. Then our heart is in a holy place.
We are a welcoming community that searches for greater connection. Now is the time to share a deeply personal and meaningful joy or sorrow. During the sharing, we listen with reverence and care to build that stronger connection that we seek. If you have a personal joy or sorrow, please raise your hand and Kathy will bring you the microphone. Please state your name and share what is in your heart, not an announcement or event. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, wait. There.
Okay. Anybody?
Good morning. Oh, it feels so nice to hear it back. I'm Camila, and I don't want to get emotional, but it happens every time. My joy today is being here with this community. I really appreciate every time I come down here to just be with you all. Some of your names I know, most of your names I don't, and that's okay. And I'm looking forward to seeing you during coffee hour. I just get so emotional. I'm trying to control it. It's just a struggle sometimes. And the outside people, you guys are great. I love hanging out with you. I have to stop now because I will just ramble about loving everyone for a long time. Thanks for listening.
I'm Eleanor Richardson, and tonight we're going up to Sanibel to celebrate New Year's Eve with my cousin. Now that would seem like not big news, but their house had 4 feet of water in it during Ian, and they were finally able to move back in this week. Wow. Those are joys. Anybody else? The end of the year finals?
Good morning, I'm Cynthia. I had a very close friend from college who passed away recently. He'd been going through a lot of health issues over the years and had struggled quite a bit, and he just finally gave in to it. That's just one of my sorrows, and I just want to send love to him and to his family.
Thank you. Our hearts were with you, Cynthia.
Good morning. My name is Susan, and I just wanted to say what a joy it was to have Nathaniel and Caroline share their beautiful music with us. Thank you very much for being here.
I'm sure the Cornells are very proud.
Hi, I'm Katie, and I just want to share joy. On Thanksgiving, I got to meet my first great niece, Eleanor, who is named after my grandmother, or after my mother. And I now have also a great nephew. So my sister is thrilled because she didn't think she'd ever be a grandmother. So anyway, thanks.
Hi, I'm Kathy, and my joy is that I'm here with my sister and brother-in-law, and we're enjoying the service, and also that my husband is celebrating his birthday today, which oftentimes gets overlooked because it's New Year's Eve. So he's not probably that happy that I'm saying this, but he still needs some recognition. Happy birthday, sweetie.
Not everybody gets fireworks on their birthday.
My name is Elizabeth Morell. Speak into the mic, please. My name is Elizabeth Morell. I have a friend, Thomas Coates, who's holding a prayer vigil at United Church of Christ at the Labyrinth at 7 o'clock tonight. If anyone would like to join, you're certainly welcome. And I have problems with my family. I'm from Kentucky, And if you know history, during the Civil War, Kentucky families split north and south within one family. Well, I have that division in my family, and it's led to the death of 3 people. And there's a broken mental health system in Kentucky, and they don't know how to get out of it. And I need to tell my story because nobody should go through this. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Hi, my name is Lori McCann, and I've been coming to UU, I guess, since this late spring. My friend and longtime coworker, or former coworker, Adrian Cady, had always spoken so joyfully about this church, and my desire or my commitment for 2024 is to join this church. So I'm looking forward to being an official member of your family.
Welcome, Lori. Anyone else?
Let's put it back here. There. We are grateful for all that has been shared, and we hold all this in our hearts as we do those joys and sorrows that have remained unspoken. And now, this morning, I invite you to visualize. And if you don't feel comfortable visualizing, please at least be mindful now and focus without judgment on your presence and how you're feeling. But please sit comfortably. You can close your eyes or gaze low. Now imagine yourself sitting in the center of a circle, and around you are loving beings, people who have been the most loving to you. Or if you connect with nature, it could be plants or animals that surround you, whatever feels comforting and nurturing to you. The circle can hold beings that you've met or that you're inspired by. They can be alive or from your past. So as you sit in the center of this circle of love, feel and experience that compassion that is being sent to you. Visualize yourself receiving all this positive energy, attention, and care from all that is around you. Notice how you feel. How is your heart? How is your arms and legs when you receive this love and kindness? What sensations are there? As you sit in the middle, try to allow this loving energy to flow into you. You deserve this care and this acknowledgement. You can take deep breaths or breathe naturally as you focus on how this feels. And now that you've had a turn, see if you can send this same loving kindness and compassion that you have felt back out to the beings in your circle. Visualize that energy going from your heart to theirs. Send them that same care and positive energy. Visualize how that feels. And then see if you can send it out even further. See if you can send it toward all beings so that what you received is given out to the world. See if that loving energy can be sent out. And when you are ready, you can wiggle your fingers and toes and open your eyes or lift your gaze. Let's have a moment of silence And while we have it, you can send more loving kindness to yourself or to others. And when the music plays, I invite you to continue to send that loving kindness to yourself and possibly out to others in the world that you know or that you have concern for. So let's take some time together in silence first. Thank you so much, Nathaniel and Caroline. Beautiful. Just Listen from Dr. Rachel Naomi Remen. I suspect that the most basic and powerful way we connect with another person is to listen. Just listen. Perhaps the most important thing we ever give each other is our attention, and especially if it is given from the heart. When people are talking, there is no need to do anything but receive them. Just let them in. Listen to what they are saying. Care about it. Listening is not merely not talking. It means taking a vigorous human interest in what is being told to us and being sincerely curious. And now my reflection. We live in a diverse world with many viewpoints. Diversity is a fact of life. One of our values is pluralism, the acceptance of differences. This can be challenging with our caveman brain. Yes, our brain has not evolved from caveman times. Our brain still looks for threats. And when we hear a point of view that is different, we tend to get defensive and stressed out. So, let's all take a deep breath or two and look into this some more. Dr. Gabor Mate, a physician, speaker, and author, has helped me to look at diversity in a different way. In his book, The Myth of Normal, he writes, quote, "Whether we realize it or not, it is our woundedness, or how we cope with it, that dictates much of our behavior, shapes our social habits, and informs our way of thinking about the world," unquote. Because our society has harmful patterns, such as judgmentalism, we all have been traumatized, at least in small ways, trauma with a small t, such as times when we are not accepted or valued for who we really are. Some of us have had trauma with a capital T also. So now I'm conversing with someone who is differently minded. When I stand in self-righteous anger at someone with a different viewpoint, and I think, how can you believe that? I am separating myself from them. I do not know their life experiences. I do not know what occurred in their life that may have brought them to that position. Recently, I heard someone who's differently minded who eventually came to a revelation. He grew up with a father that had toxic authoritarianism. Once he working on healing himself, his views softened. I communicated with an all those books must be vetted before they're allowed in school person. I asked her about what had happened to her, and she told me about an experience with a very biased teacher. She seemed to soften after being actively listened to. So I tried to remember to ask, will you tell me about your life? I'd love to know what has occurred in your life to give you this point of view. People are in need of connection so badly that sometimes they have chosen groups with unhealthy intentions just simply because of their need for connection. So before judging, I need to consider their woundedness. It is their biography, not their ideology, that I need to give attention to first. Not arguing and not pushing back at someone's different opinion can feel like a betrayal of our own beliefs. It can feel like selling out. But listening with genuine curiosity is not selling out or taking the easy road. It is connecting. It is developing trust and lowering the defenses of that caveman brain. There is a deep value in taking a more respectful and curious approach. When we connect in this way, future mutual listening is more possible, where we can be sincerely listened to by the other person. When people are met with respect and compassion, they are more likely to be able to access their own compassion for themselves and for others. Connection, comfort, and trust needs to be established first with those that have good intentions but disagree. When possible, as I'm listening, I try to look for the common ground, not the differences. I may not agree with what's being said, but that's okay. It's like finding the chocolate in the trail mix. Are they angry about this issue? I may be angry too, for another reason. What values are important to this person? What goals do they have? Listening to these questions in my mind helps me to build a connection with the other person. Finding commonality helps to build a sense of trust and comfort. True active listening is an act of compassion, and our caring needs to be shared first. Unitarian Universalist core value is love. I am reminded of Amanda Gorman's poem, where she reminds us that love can be our legacy if only we are brave enough to be it. So deepening our understanding of others can weave greater compassion and connection.
It's on. Great. Now if I could put it back. Okay. When the worship associates talked about doing the service on New Year's Eve day, I volunteered topics like resolutions or connections. But what emerged from the others was harmony and pluralism. What? I can't do that. Well, maybe harmony. But what is pluralism anyway? Acceptance of difference. I think mine was always arm-length tolerance. So what has been my journey from tolerance to acceptance? Looking back over my career, I realized I always wanted harmony, but I had to grow in the concept of truly accepting people who are different. It wasn't that I was negative, I just didn't have any exposure. I fell into a job teaching English as a second language after the state rep I was working for lost the election. I taught in hospitals to non-English speaking Chinese and Haitians. It was really a first introduction for me, to racial, cultural, and economic difference. At first, I was just professional and guarded. I had a curriculum with books and pictures to share. But as I got to know my adult students and earned their trust, I found that they had many needs besides work vocabulary holding them back. They opened up and told me their stories. They had to keep their jobs. They had sick children and housing issues. Many of their feelings and needs were like mine: anxiety for their children, fears about providing for their families, besides lack of English, and trying to work, sometimes more than one job. I thought deeply about what I was teaching them. I veered away from the curriculum, sometimes being silly and acting out sentences, but mainly I created specific tools for their needs. Projects involving opening a checking account, filling out housing forms, reading labels, and customer service. I built on their vocabulary and their knowledge. I developed a successful class by establishing trust, asking, and listening. I was able to tailor exercises related to their interests. Once my walls were down, I was truly able to help them, coaxing out their feelings and their stories. One Haitian man came to me one day extremely upset because he tried to help a white woman who had fallen in the street. When he stooped to help her up, all of the bystanders yelled at him. In his culture of service, one helps the people in trouble. It was a dramatic lesson in racial prejudice. I think I was speechless, but it was an eye-opener for me. This experience led me to enroll in a prejudice reduction workshop in Boston, a 3-day experience. It was a shock for me to realize that I would be the only white suburban in the middle of a black district. Luckily, they started with an exercise where we stood up when a term or phrase applied to us, as in first child, Jewish, African American, gay, any label allowed as well. Pretty soon, I had lost track of whom I was like and whom I wasn't. We were put into small mixed groups where we practiced real-life situations and how to respond. The key for me, the learning, came from that role play. In one exercise, we worked on getting Dad to accept his son's gay partner. We learned to respond to hatred, fear, and prejudice by practicing better ways of handling difficult conversations. We learned to pause, be calm, recognize the emotion, and diffuse the situation, not back away or shame the accuser. When we moved to Cape Cod, I continued my opening up with Cape Mediation, working in the courts to resolve small claims cases and landlord-tenant relations. The judges or magistrates made decisions based on law so that one side would win and the other would lose. In mediation, the parties get to talk, be listened to, and have a say in the outcome. It's not always win-win, but it's never lose-lose. Mediation was about what the participants wanted, coaxing out what was most important to them. I was in charge of asking, listening, getting answers, transmitting information, even anger, and allowing them to decide what would work for them. Hearing their stories, I would repeat and summarize so they felt listened to, establishing trust and a safe, neutral space. Mediators don't make the decisions, but we debriefed our cases and discussed challenges and how we could overcome them, how to have a better approach or diffuse anger sooner. Lack of communication was a major issue in most of the court cases. I love that I've learned that there doesn't have to be winning and losing if the right approach, the right words, and good listening happen. The exposure to all different types of people has been broadening for me. The transition from tolerance to acceptance was a slow process. Acceptance means opening up and being receptive. One man at a mediation had to divorce his wife in order to be able to access housing monies. After I heard and paid attention, he started to cry, and he said, "This is the first time I've really been listened to, and I feel like a real human being." It's in the stories. Absolutely, it's in the stories. Those stories that remind me of my growth, the skills I've acquired to deal with differences. These work well for interactions with people who are thoughtless and biased as well. Staying calm, responding, and asking questions, plus good listening. We might not change any minds, but it could educate and expand them. All these exchanges lead us to new areas of expansion.
Thank you, Kathy. Great story and very educational. The offering that we take each Sunday isn't just a stale habit. It's an opportunity to recommit to this place, to this people, and to this community. Our offering is an affirmation, a hard yes, rather than a soft no. When we give, we say yes to something we value. With our gift freely given, may we say yes to the values of our faith. May our offering help us practice Unitarian Universalism beyond our congregation as tools to empower our expanding mission. This collection, whether by cash or check today, or if mailed on the last day eligible for tax deductions in 2023, note that, will be much appreciated. Your offerings may be mailed to the UUCGN administrator, whose address is on the screen shown. If you have not yet completed your pledge, this would be an ideal time to share with Anna your commitment for the 2024-25 fiscal year. There's no need to complete a pledge card. You can just put it in writing to her with that check, or an email to the office also works. Please be sure to get that done here in the new year. Now, today's offering is gratefully received. Thank you both so much. That was just absolutely incredible. And thank you to Martha and Brad for sharing your offspring with us today. As usual, there are so many events for January that I'm just going to refer you to the news blast. It was emailed to you on the 28th. I believe that was last Thursday around noon from Diane Jacobs, who will come up in your email from assistant@uunaples.org. You can go there and get the specifics, but I wanted to point out that there are a couple of things that are important for you to remember and to put on your calendar if you wish. There's a coming of age update status for the kids that are in that program. This coming week, we'll have the inaugural meeting of Welcoming Women, and that's a new program that's offered here. The forum speaker next week from the Florida District 1 is candidate Gay Villamont on current issues, and I might mention that she is opposing Matt Gaetz, notorious representative from North Florida. Yes. Wonderful Wednesdays is on January 10th, and that is Damon Gamu on his film 2040, and it should be a very extraordinary discussion about the new concepts he's presenting. Aging Wisely comes again on January 19th. There's a circle dinner also on January 19th in Bonita Springs, and remember that's limited to the first 8 people who register for that through the contact is on the email blast you got. And then finally, the music committee has been on fire lately. Thank you so much. There are 3 events in January, so check the news blast and mark your calendars for that. And finally, if you will rise, please, and join us in singing the closing hymn. It's number 148 in the Gray Book. And it is Let Freedom Span Both East and West.
Let freedom span both east and west, and love both south and north, in universal fellowship throughout the wide earth. In beauty, wonder everywhere, let us communion find. Compassion be the golden cord close binding humankind. Beyond all barriers of race, of color, caste, or creed, let us make friendship, human worth, our common faith and deed. Then east and west will meet and share, and south shall build with north, one human commonwealth of good throughout the whole wide earth.
Please remain standing for the benediction. We leave this gathered community on the last day of the year, but we don't leave our connection, our concerns, our care for each other. Our service to each other, to the world, and to our faith continues. Until we are together again, friends, be strong, be well, be true, be loving. May 2024 feed our souls and strengthen our resolve for whatever is to come. Happy New Year.